We're back. It's the Ring Champs. I go by the name of Barak.
And I'm Barak, the boxing bully.
And another episode, special guest, friend to the room, 4-time trainer of the year. So many questions. We got him here joining us now, Derrick James.
Good to be here, man. Thank you, man. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Every time I see you, we stop, we chat about so much.
Right.
And I thought about it. I said, man, we need to have him on a show because a lot of the answers that you give me, I want them to be on camera, you know?
Right.
So, and there's some stuff that I want to get into, Derrick, that, you know, I don't know how much you can talk about it, but we're going to ask. You talk about what you can talk about.
Right.
First off, we're in New York City, Ryan Garcia, Times Square. We know that y'all had a great outing against Devin Haney.
Right.
And then seemed like he was going to train with somebody else. And here we are again, you working with Ryan again.
Right.
Talk to me about how that interaction went, like to get you back on board.
Well, it was a process. It wasn't just like I just immediately did it.
Right.
It was,
Because you kind of said we had a little something to do with that.
well, I told you, and we'll get to that.
Okay.
But it's going to be within this answer.
Okay.
So it was like, you know, it was like they were asking me and I was kind of like, you know, I don't know. And really, but then I saw the interview that you all did with Ryan, right? And how poised he was and how focused he was. And it was like, okay, I can see that. And I like that.
Right.
Then I was like, well, I want to talk to him. Because I want to be able to talk to him regardless of whatever. You know, you can be having an interview, but when I talked to him, he's very focused and he's very dedicated. So I said, okay, I'm good. But it really came, but had I not seen this, and I don't even watch the internet, so I'm not even on the internet like that.
Right.
But I was like, okay, and I watched it, and the way he was answering questions, I said, okay, I'm good.
So that sounds like to me that maybe you weren't in such of a hurry to get back into that atmosphere of having a fighter that's drinking and smoking and, you know, with the other antics he was doing at that particular time.
Well, it wasn't necessarily that. It was just that, you know, you want to come into a situation that is good, right? The drinking and smoking is not a thing I indulge in. Never had a drink, never. So I don't believe in that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I believe anybody else can do other than a fighter.
Yes.
But it wasn't like, you know, just everything else that kind of went along with everything. You know, I was just like, I needed to make sure he focused and make sure he's poised. And I mean, when I saw the interview here, I was like, and really it was brief because I didn't see all of it.
Right.
But what I saw, I was like, okay, he's good.
So have you ever had a conversation with him about the drinking or those antics? Are you the type of trainer to say, hey, Ryan, I don't think you should be out in the club?
Oh, yeah, no doubt, man. You know, it's like, I can't not say anything because you can't maximize who you are as an individual if you're not 100%, you know? But, you know.
How would he take that advice?
I think he'd take any kind of advice from me, you know, because it's real. I'm not going to lie to him about it.
But would he say, like, you're right, Derrick, or I'm just going to have a drink every once in a blue? Like, did you feel like you were getting through to him?
Yeah, but he's not doing any of that at all. I mean, he's done with all that.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm talking about back then when he was. Like, I'm talking about getting ready for Haney.
You know, I would say something to him. I would say something to him, yeah.
No, but it's like what he said when he was here. He said, nobody was able to get through to me. So if somebody's trying to give you advice, you're not going to say, nah, F that. You're going to be like, okay, yeah, right. And then still go do what you want to do.
I think that when you feel like you know a situation, and even regardless of whatever, he was able to perform up to, you know, top tier. So even in the gym, he worked very hard. So it wasn't like he was going easy. So
were you a little bit worried? Like, okay, he's not giving me 100%. That might lead us to not performing the way we want to perform that night.
You know, I felt a certain kind of way. I'm not going to lie. I felt a certain kind of way, but I just said, you know, just keep pushing. Yeah. And let me tell you, it's two people who really, because I really was like going into the fight, I was really kind of like, man, you really kind of don't know.
Yeah.
But I got Roxanne Shante hit me up, right?
Oh, that's our girl,
And she was like, listen, you just focus on everything you did and all the work. I mean, so really it was like, when she hit me up, I was like, damn. Because she, like, we talked, whatever, but it was like, she gave me the word, right? And I was like, said, okay. And then I was like, we're gonna do it. And then my daughter hit me up. My daughters hit me up that day. I was like, couple days before.
Okay.
And it was like at the same time, like back to back. Like,
Okay.
And my daughters hit me up, and then Roxanne hit me up. I was like,
you felt confident.
Yeah. Because it was like she was like, hey, you did your job. You're doing your job. You know, you're doing what you need to be doing. And she was like, you just stay focused. You know, you did what you were supposed to do. And listen, I was like, right. And that was it.
You know, as a trainer, I'm sorry to stay on that. As a trainer, I guess maybe some trainers out there would say, well, you know what? I'm getting my paycheck.
No.
Right. Can you ever say that to yourself and make yourself feel better? Well, at least I got X amount of dollars.
I'm like Marlo Stansfield. My name is my name. Everything I do, my name.
But for those that don't know that, go watch The Wire.
It's The Wire.
Epic show.
This is like, hey, my name is my name. It's real.
And you know what? I remember hearing you say that several times because a while back I asked you, I don't want to name names, about if certain fighters came ask you to train them, you'd be like, no, I can't. I won't be able to do that because it's going to put some stain on my name. Obviously, against Haney, he showed a lot, right? He was at a weight class where he was comfortable. He was 2 pounds over 140 and stayed, didn't want to lose that weight, very comfortable in that weight. Does him and Gervonta Davis, does that fight look different at a weight that Ryan is comfortable in? Let's say at 140, 142, 143.
I think it could. You know what I mean? I'm not looking that far in advance because we got.
But it's a topic that people always bring up, right? Because they bring up the fact that Ryan fought at 135 with a rehydration clause, and they see how he looked against Devin. They're like two different fighters, kind of, right? So I just wanted your opinion on because Ryan always says he wants to get his lick back with Tank, right? We both know what those two guys do with numbers-wise, right? Like two of the biggest stars in the sport. So if that fight would happen again at a weight class that Ryan is comfortable, would it be a much different fight?
I think so. I think it would be.
You think Ryan wins?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, but
got that out of him. All right, so I want to ask you a question about this upcoming fight on May 2nd. There's 3 headliners, Ryan being one of them. You got Devin Haney and you got Teofimo Lopez.
Right.
I asked Ryan, who do you think has the toughest opponent? And he said Romero. Do you agree that Romero is the toughest opponent out of the other 3 guys?
Man, I can't answer that because I'm going to tell you something that's real funny, right?
What?
I've never seen the other guys fight.
I knew it. Well, okay, I thought he was going to say, Ryan is going to destroy Rolly, so that's not going to be a tough fight for him.
No. He don't even talk like that.
Okay. I'm being honest, I don't remember, and I only seen Teofimo fight twice, I think.
Right.
When he fought the guy in Australia.
Yeah, Cambosos. But it was in New York, though.
That was it.
Okay,
what's it good? From Australia, that's what I mean.
I got you. So Ryan Garcia and a lot of other people tend to say Romero doesn't have much skill. Do you see that when you watch? Now you had to have watched them.
Yeah. I mean, no, but I've seen Rolly fight before.
Yeah.
I just hadn't seen No, man, listen, it's like this. A lot of people can say what they want, but as long as you're getting the job done, it doesn't even matter, right?
Yeah.
I believe that his style is his style. And if he's mastered something and he's been able to be great and successful, we're talking about him because of what he's done before, right? So that means it's been good enough to be successful. It's like he has that not go away, right? He may fight a fight, you think he's gonna lose, he lose. He's not going away, he's back in the mix.
Yes.
Right.
So what happens is, you really can't say whatever you want to say about him because he's the guy who's been consistent, right? So his style works for him. And it's just about figuring out who he is and who he wants to be that night because obviously he's successful.
So if you worked with Romero, you wouldn't change his style?
I didn't say that. I just said what took for him to be successful now.
Okay.
Because I'm going to add whatever to him. I think I see best, whatever, but it's like, I'm not going to be decapitating him on television.